Welcome guys, if you haven't checked out my previous content, I've been on a mission to track down and locate an affordable, simple plug and play HDMI adapters for your retro consoles, as many TVs these days will not accept the original connectivity, or you will need to go around an expensive route such as DIY soldering a HDMI board, or an expensive time-consuming cable messy method of converting an analog signal to a digital HDMI, with devices such as the RetroTink, FrameMeister and OSSC. Well, it's not here for us. This time around we'll be tackling my personal favourite console, the Sega Dreamcast. And what a great time to be a fan, with new content being ported over this year from indie developers like the GTA series, Doom 64, Soviet Borgs and more. Still hoping for that mammoth translation project of Sega Gaga to be completed one day, hopefully. But quickly, before we dive into this, I advise you to first check out my recent video on a simple understanding to get the best picture from your Sega Dreamcast. This will give you a good foundation to start with, especially if you are new to this scene, which will then help you to understand the rest of this video and get yourself a better Dreamcast experience. If you manage to do that, then here is a big thumbs up to you. Now, in this video we'll be looking from getting our gameplay image looking like this over to looking like this, and ending with a recommended conclusion. You will find timestamps of each review of these cables below, but I will be sharing some handy knowledge on the way to help us get the best video output onto your HDTVs from this awesome console. I am also currently working on content on how to get yourself up and running a Dreamcast Pro model with no soldering skills needed. So if you can, hit that like and subscribe to help support this content. So let's go. So what we learned from the video that I mentioned to check out earlier is we need these adapters to convert a VGA signal to a digital HDMI with a clear 480p pass-through, displaying 858 pixels per line, with the complete video information being 720 by 480p DTV signal, but the render video image being 640 by 480p. But before the battle will commence, we will have to do a quick promotion for these guys who have been very kind and sent me a review unit of this cracking pretty tidy portable monitor. This one is the UGame K118 18-inch 2K 3-sync monitor with 144Hz. One of their more premium monitors, which I've been very excited to get my hands on, with this lightweight of just 0.89 kilograms, but yet a very solid build. 144Hz refresh rate, 1440p 2K resolution. It does have a 17 and an 18-inch variant with an aluminium shell. This K118 model is also packed with two full-featured USB Type-C for audio and video input, one mini HDMI, and a 3.5 auxiliary audio output. In my personal experience, I do find this product pretty awesome. It's very well built and it does have its protective case included, but I did find that it can slip off this case a few times. They do recommend staying with this 1 meter cable included. Anything longer can cause some issues, but personally I would have liked the 2 meter, but it is recommended to stay with the original. It is a shame that a full-size HDMI connectivity is not included, but I do know if products do include a full size, it can bump up the price a bit. And when I did plug this into a HDMI splitter, this did cause some syncing issues. So a direct connection is what I personally recommend. The cables that it does come with has a very premium build quality, and with this 250 nits of brightness, it does give you a full great picture, and the 9 millisecond latency response is considered pretty amazing, especially for a portable size monitor. With this also accepting low resolution signals like 480p, this is pretty awesome for my personal setup. A great choice for gamers or enable users to obtain a higher level of gaming experience. Uperfect Web Store has you covered with all angles to really support you with all the necessary goods for a great home setup, or even one that is on the go. Now for the first adapter to this battle is the component converter video output by Bitfunx. Now this is a bit of a curveball straight away, as we all know that the Dreamcast is not compatible with the component video out. But I would leave this one out to make a dedicated video, as I found out there's a lot of things you can do with this component cables. I hope to catch you in that video, as for this one we're only comparing simple affordable plug and play ones. So for our actual first adapter to the competition, with an adapter provided from LevelHike. Now this is some quite old footage, but to ensure you that the quality of the video output from LevelHike has not changed. I am a big fan of LevelHike products, that I do personally use some of the adapters in my own setup. They do have some great affordable ones out there for many other consoles. But here, when it comes to LevelHike and the Sega Dreamcast, they have let their quality down, unfortunately, as straight away you will notice the clarity levels and the brightness levels are very dull. The color balance seems to be very accurate. The aspect ratio is somewhat in between a 16:9 by 4:3, so that is not correct. But let's end this with some good points and bad points. The good ones being that it is a affordable cost, it has some good build quality, a good design, my personal favorite layout, with some great sound quality. The color balance is there and there are accessible stock out there. Now for the bad points is that of course the brightness and exposure levels are very low, giving it bad clarity. So not going to recommend this one, so let's quickly move on to our next adapter. This is a newer one provided by Kaico, in which they were kind enough to send me one for review purposes. I've personally not had the best experience in the past from them with other adapters for other consoles, but this is a newer revision with a VGA to RGB switch and a 4:3:16:9 switch, which is a first for me for a HDMI adapter for this console. Kaico also provide a lot of adapters with built-in line doublers for other consoles, in which I'll be happy to get my hands on to review for you guys, but it is worth checking their stock out, and you will find a link to this store below in the description. Now for this one, it did come across a bit of a bulky fella. I do like the colour scheme with the design same much as the PAL Dreamcast, but unfortunately there is no bridge connected to the console. This is a built-in all-in-one. This design method just gets my console sticking out a little too much in my own setup, just a personal nag. I can confirm that this has an output registering of 1920 by 1080p, which could be handy for the newer TVs that don't accept low resolutions. But to what quality of upscaling is another thing. So let's set this up to VGA mode with the 4:3 ratio. And wow, this is a lot better than the LevelHike. That exposure and brightness levels are definitely there. You will notice it more with a side-by-side comparison with that LevelHike. First impressions is that the color balance as well does seem pretty decent. Does come across a bit of a strong lighter tone. Now for that 4:3 640x480 test, and this time it does seem not to even fill the 4:3 ratio correctly, giving it more of a narrow video output. A 16:9 test, you can further tell that this image is not centered and it's not filling your entire screen. A closer look, you can also tell that the brightness and exposure levels are just too high, losing quality of clarity of the entire image, and with the color balance giving it too much of a lighter tone. Here is a better example that I found to show you, and this is my HDHMI menu with all my games listed, and this is shown with that Kaico adapter, and here again is this shown with a more accurate adapter. Now when it came to the RGB mode, I did find that the interlacing flickering was very apparent, so this one does not handle it very well. Here again is a better example with my HDMI menu. The text font is just not clear at all, and this does affect through the gameplay experience, so I just won't recommend using the RGB feature. So to finish this with the good and the bad, the good being that it is an affordable price, again with great sound quality, better brightness and exposure levels than a lot of the competitors out there, and somewhat of a good color balance, and with the features of 4:3 and 16:9 switch. For the bad points, the RGB feature I found just to be useless, with the ratio and the centering still to be off, and the 16:9 feature still does not fill your entire screen. With this poor design and the brightness levels and the exposure too high, I can't really recommend this one. Next up is this generic Bitfunx adapter, which I've had sitting around for quite a while, so I've been meaning to check this out. It has good packaging, compact with a HDMI cable as well. It has an all plastic build with rounded edges, no switches included, a small LED for power indication. It looks like it's just a straight pass through with this one, no fancy extras, and just a VGA supported signal. So let's hook this all up, and it fits in nicely. And here is the blue LED showing up that we got power. I can confirm as well that the resolution is coming straight through with the pass through of 640 by 480. Straight away there is an improvement on all levels compared to the rest of these adapters, with better brightness levels and exposure with very good color balance, but the image is just ever so slightly off, losing a touch of clarity. But for the aspect ratio test, unfortunately we do have that 16:9 stretch again, and of course it doesn't fill the screen, but it does seem pretty centered. The main unfortunate issue with this adapter is the sound quality. It does come across with a slight tinny type of sound, losing its low end in the balance. Here is a sample that you may need to wear headphones just to notice the difference. Now here is a better explanation on the clarity. So if I just zoom in on the text font again on my GDM menu, you will notice that there definitely is a problem with the pixel alignment, and this is one where it is corrected. Quite a few people may be happy with this adapter, as it does do the job and is better than a lot of the previous adapters that I've shown, but I'm sure we can do better. So for the good points being that it is affordable, good quality build and design, and has the best brightness and color balance so far. Its bad points as that its clarity is slightly off, as an overstretched ratio by default, being that is not the correct ratio, and that incorrect sound issue. Next up is a later revision of another Bitfunx adapter. Now I've been looking forward to this one, as I've seen the reviews are pretty good. Now again, this is well packaged with its own HDMI cable and booklet. This again has a bridge cable from the console to the adapter, which is what I like to see. This time around we do have an aluminium shell built, which does help to keep noise issues out if you do have a bit of a setup that has a lot of cables going around. We have no fancy switches here, but a small LED indicator for power. It does have a smooth finish, so it's well built. So this is my favorite built design so far. So let's go ahead and hook this one up. Now this looks pretty great. It does seem to have the same attributes as that previous Bitfunx adapter I just shown. I would say that the clarity is just slightly better. In this case it's not perfect, but it is better, possibly due to yet again of that default 16:9 stretching. You could amend this by simply adjusting your TV settings to scale by 4:3 and raising your sharpness levels slightly to balance out and improve the clarity. But it would be nice if this was a default feature by just outputting the correct intended native resolution and ratio of this console. Now for a quick sound test. And yes, that is better than the last Bitfunx that I just shown. I would definitely say that this has given me the best results so far, and I would recommend this adapter. It could easily be a part of my homemade setup. So heading to the good points, this being very affordable, the best build quality and design so far, and the brightness levels and color balance are all checked in really well with great audio. And now the bad points, that it is auto stretching this image to 16:9, there is no switch on there to have a 4:3 mode, it's not exactly pixel point perfect, and there is no RGB mode, but personally I am not after the RGB because I like to get my games running in VGA mode, so this works out pretty awesome. Next up is another one I've been really looking forward to, and this is a multi-connectivity adapter. Personally I am not a fan of its exposed design and its non-bridge cable to the main console. Really like that logo on top though. Now here we also got a stereo jack output with the HDMI next to that, a RGB-S cable connectivity, so you need to purchase a separate cable adapter, so then you can connect a composite AS video or an RGB cable if you want to use it for that method. But personally, here in this video I'll be focusing on the HDMI output. There is a little message stuck on here as well, stating that when the position of the HDMI image is not in the middle of the screen, please switch the HDMI and the VGA switch back and forth, and the image will then be centered. And also, if you want to choose which your desired output is, make sure that switch is in line with the right output. So let's set this up, and oh, that's a nice blue LED. So now let's check out some footage, and first of all, that image is not centered at all. So let's flick that switch back and forth, and bam, that is a lot better. Now again, this cable is performing pretty great. may just be on the same par as the aluminium shell Bitfunx that I just shown prior to this. It is very close indeed. It may be a little bit better, but not much at all. A slight loss in the clarity again, most probably due to the fact that it's stretching that screen again, unfortunately. But I'm very happy with this video image, and the audio levels work out really well. So straight to the good points, the affordability, even though this is priced slightly higher than the rest of the adapters that I've shown prior. The connectivity features, giving you multiple options to hook up this console, even to other video adapters like upscalers to improve the image. With great color balance and brightness levels, work really well. For the bad points, again this image is forced and stretched. There is no 4:3 switch mode here. It's not pixel point perfect. The exposure levels could be a slightly more higher. The design here is where it mostly fails. I would prefer a more complete sealed shielding, that would be better, and a bridge cable and connector to the console. Personally, that is just a better design. In which, making this video after multiple uses of this adapter, I did find out that this connector to the console actually just popped and snapped off. So this adapter is not good, and I don't really recommend this at all. So coming to the conclusion brings us to the winner in this comparison video. Just my opinion, of course, and the timing of the release of this video is this later revision of the metal shielding Bitfunx. Purchase links can be found below if you're interested in picking one up yourself. Now that we've got a decent video coming out with this HDMI adapter, let's add some extra features with some HDMI enhancement to finish this video off, thus adding the M Classic and the PhotoFast, in which, if you like more information, I did a video a while back, which you will find a link in the description. But in short, the M Classic will plug into this HDMI port, will then upscale the video image to 1080p, and add in ×2 anti-aliasing. Then attaching the PhotoFast on top of that will then upscale a 1080p signal to a 4K. And let's see the results. Personally, I am a big fan of this setup method. Now I know a few people are not a big fan of the M Classic, especially with that anti-aliasing, but with this setup it does look and work really well. But when it comes to the PhotoFast sharpening intensity mode, I just like it to put it on the first one, as it is originally working with a 480p signal and it can sharpen it too much. And here again is some footage of the Bitfunx metal adapter shown on its own, and here again is it with all the upscalers attached to it. So guys, I really enjoyed making this video, and I will be comparing some later adapters that will be coming out in the near future. And of course, I'd love to hear your comments in the section below of any other adapters that you recommend me testing out. So I hope that you enjoyed this video, and as always, if you liked it, hit that button, and if you want to support the channel, click subscribe, leave your comments below, and I'll catch you lot on my next video.